What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks bringing you some more Timeless Cup practice videos here. This video is going to be against my friend Fonzie17, and in this video I'm going to be using Politoed once again. You see here in this opening matchup, I'm going straight for the Earthquake here against Lapras. That Surf would be resisted, so I am able to land that Earthquake, which is really good. Earthquake does a lot of damage, even though it doesn't get stab. It's a very powerful move. He baits me with the Surf there, definitely the correct play on his part. I needed to make sure that I correctly shield the Skull Bash. I go for the Surf here, trying to bait out his shield, and I am successful. Now, I'm assuming that this is most likely going to be a Skull Bash because he correctly baited me in the beginning. It is a Skull Bash, but I am just barely able to get to this second Earthquake, which is really good. This Earthquake goes through, and Politoed is able to win out that matchup. Lapras is definitely one of the meta-defining Pokemon in this Timeless Cup, and so the fact that you can win out the matchup against Lapras definitely gives Politoed some swag for sure. Here we have Sealeo against Dragonair. This is definitely a positive matchup for me. Although the Aurora Beam would easily one-shot Sealeo, I'm just going straight for the body slams here to try to apply some shield pressure. He does not take the bait, but that's alright. I have another body slam ready to go. This is going to get Dragonair super low, but not take it out. It barely survives, and I'm able to get in another Powder Snow there, which is even better for me. I'm going to continue to just go for the body slams here, throw these charge moves before the Skuntank is able to throw another charge move. And he fully committed to just fast moving me down there, but it allowed me to get to another body slam here, which is just insane. He still has a shield. I tried to pull a fast switch into Meganium there, but it didn't work out. I do have to correctly shield the Sludge Bomb or the Flamethrower. I anticipated him baiting me with Crunch, and so I let that go through. And I'm trying to farm up enough energy here to throw back-to-back Frenzy Plants, because it is very difficult to Vine Whip down this Skuntank because it's resisting my Vine Whips. So this is obviously going to get his last shield, and I have just barely enough. Actually, I'm able to Vine Whip that down, just barely, but man, that took a lot of Vine Whips to get that Skuntank down. So I take out that first match there. That Politoed versus Lapras matchup is very interesting. The fact that you can win that by landing those Earthquakes is pretty amazing. You can see Fonzie's team, he doesn't actually have a starter, and that's because he just recently got into PvP, and so he's waiting for the Community Day weekend, which is happening this weekend. Then he'll be able to evolve some stuff and be able to use a starter, but because he doesn't have any grass on my team, I run a very interesting line of three here. Triple water, pretty much. Politoed, Sealeo, and Tentacruel. So this is a really good matchup for me, but I'm over-farming just a little bit here. I knew I could survive that return, and now I'm going straight body slam. Again, I have enough energy for the Aurora Beam, and that would definitely one-shot it, but I anticipated him burning some shields here, so that's why I'm just going straight for the body slam. He lets that one go through, almost able to get to another body slam there, but not able to do it. I end up bringing in Tentacruel because these poison jabs are going to be able to get rid of that Dragonair before it can throw a charge move. I would have resisted the Aqua Tail, so he would have had to gone for return. I bring in my Politoed because Tentacruel against Whiscash is not a matchup you want to stay in at all. And I'm able to throw these Surfs so fast. These Surfs hit Whiscash for neutral because of its water ground typing. I'm able to draw the last shield there, which is really great. I'm surprised that he's leaving this Whiscash in, which leads me to believe that maybe whatever he has in the back is also weak to Politoed. And it ends up being Ninetales. So my prediction was correct. I'm just going to be able to throw so many Surfs here. I'm not going to let that Ninetales get to a side track at all. Just going to destroy it with Surfs here. He still has the Whiscash, but I'm up a shield. These Mud Bombs definitely chip away, so I have to commit my shield here, but I'm still would be able to survive another Mud Bomb, which is really good because he has another Mud Bomb ready here. Going to be able to survive that with just a little bit of health, but I'm able to get to this Surf. This should almost take out the Whiscash. Leaves it with just a very sliver of health. And I'm able to Mud Shot it down, which is really good there. Triple Water worked out, and that's only because he doesn't have a Grass type on his team, so it really didn't threaten me too much. Going with a Tentacruel lead here. Gonna try to get some acid sprays off and lower that defense. It's super fun. This is a matchup that I'm perfectly okay with staying in. You just have to correctly shield the Skull Bash, but I'm just gonna go straight for the acid spray. I don't even consider this a shield bait. This is just like straight up my strategy with Tentacruel here. Just go straight for acid spray and lower that defense as quickly as possible, so every subsequent poison jab you do is going to be doing more damage. I correctly predict the Skull Bash there, but I'm able to get off another acid spray, lowering his defense once again. This is a pretty funny game that you play here. You lower the Lapras's defense and it boosts its defense, but you are able to get to the acid sprays before the Lapras can get to the Skull Bash. I knew that that was going to be a bait there, so I did not shield. And I correctly called that. So I went out the lead. I am down a shield, but I'm okay with that. In comes the Whiscash. Horrible matchup for me, but I'm at least going to be able to lower its defense with this acid spray, which I'm totally fine with. I switch in my Politoed, and again, because he has no Grass types, I know that this is a decent switch in. And he's got the Ninetales. So he's got the Whiscash with lowered defense and then the Ninetales. Neither of those Pokemon are going to enjoy these crazy spammy Surfs from Politoed. So at this point, I let this Psyshock go through. It does a decent amount of damage, definitely. And I just barely overfarmed there, and this Ninetales is able to get to another Psyshock, which forces me to use my shield, and we actually ended up CMP tying, so not exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to farm just a little bit extra and then throw my Surf before the Ninetales was able to get to the Psyshock, but definitely misplayed a little bit. Got a little too greedy there. I like to play kind of risky in my practice matches and just see how much farming I can do before it bites me in the butt. Now at this point, I need to bring in my Dragonair to try to get this Whiscash low enough to where my Tentacruel is going to be able to comfortably take it out. My Tentacruel does not have a lot of health left, but luckily that Aqua Tail is able to go through, and because the Whiscash still had lower defense, it was able to take it out. Politoed is so spammy. So much fun to use for sure, but again, because the Mudshot damage is not very significant, Mudshot is definitely like an energy generating fast move. It's very hard to farm down Pokemon with Mudshot. That's just something you gotta watch out for. Even if you're hitting super effective, like if you're going against a poison type, the Mudshot just does not do that much damage. So here's a matchup that I'm totally okay with playing out. I was trying to QSA there, but he just kept farming up as well, and I was about to throw my Surf, but luckily he threw his Mud Bomb. I successfully QSA'd there, so I'm able to get my Surf off right after his Mud Bomb, not allow any Mud Shots to go through. And then I piggyback this second Surf, which also prevented any Mud Shots going through on his end. So very good for me. I'm not allowing him to get an energy advantage within this scenario. I do commit a shield because he committed a shield. Able to get to another Surf here. This is either going to draw a second shield or do a decent amount of damage. So I get both shields in this matchup, and we actually ended up CMP tying there. So I'm okay with letting this go. Not the best scenario because in that Whiscash was able to get in a couple extra Mud Bombs, but I'm okay with that because I ended it with a shield advantage. Now he instantly switches into his Dragonair there, which I believe was a mistake because now Sealeo, no sense in going for body slams here when shields are down. This Aurora Beam absolutely one-shots. I do need to watch out for that Whiscash though. He still has it in the back, and my Tentacruel is not going to appreciate that damage from Whiscash at all. So really at this point, I should have switched in my Tentacruel instead of using my Sealeo to get rid of this Kingdra. So this was a mistake in my part. I knew his switch clock wasn't up, so I should have switched in my Tentacruel to allow for a better matchup in the closing scenario. I went straight for the Aurora Beam there, but now I kind of screwed myself here because Tentacruel's Poison Jab damage is going to be pretty heavily resisted. So I'm not going to be able to get this Whiscash down. I need to get an Acid Spray off. I don't have any shields. I can tank one Mud Bomb, but this Whiscash has a second Mud Bomb stored up. This is going to take me extremely low. I'm barely alive, not able to get to the Acid Spray, so his Whiscash is able to clutch that one up. So definitely a mistake on my part. I should have switched in my Tentacruel against his Kingdra to preserve that matchup in the end. I'm going to bring in Meganium in this line of 3. Meganium, once again, I think is a very solid choice for your starter in this cup. It is so bulky, and Frenzy Plant is an amazing move. Absolutely horrible lead right here. Got to get out of there. And I actually switched in my Politoed because I did not want my Meganium to get hard countered. And it's very interesting. You saw that he switched in his Ninetales, so he was probably anticipating that I was going to switch in my Grass type, which most people do. And with Whiscash, you have to be crazy fast with your switches, otherwise you're going to get wrecked by your double weakness to Grass. So because I did not switch in my hardest counter to Whiscash, he made a mistake in his switching, and now this is a really bad matchup for him. I let the Psy Shot go through. We actually CMP tied there. Again, I was just barely over farming, so we had a lot of these CMP ties, which is less than ideal for me, for sure. I know he still has the Whiscash, and he brings it back in, which is really great for me, because I do not want that Whiscash aligned on my Tentacruel. It would be absolutely horrible. I still have Meganium, my hardest counter to Whiscash, so I can allow my Politoed to go down here and safely bring in Meganium. I also know that his Ninetales is out of the picture. So let's see. There's no way he's going to want to stay in there. He brings in his Lapras. But Meganium actually would have been able to sweep that entire matchup right there. It'd be able to beat Lapras, and it would be able to beat the Whiscash. But because Tentacruel versus Whiscash is so horrible, I just switch in my Tentacruel here, which is also a decent answer to Lapras. I totally am fine with this matchup. I knew that was going to be a bait because I was kind of getting into his thought process, and the only way that he'd be able to win out this matchup is if he were able to successfully bait. So I recognized that and let it go through. Not going to shield this either. It's a Skull Bash. Totally fine with me because my Meganium's going to come back in, farm up a little bit more energy. Going to be able to throw this Frenzy Plant, which definitely would one-shot a Whiscash. He still has a shield left, though. And if he correctly baits with Mud Bomb and then throws a Blizzard, that's the only way that he's going to pull out this matchup. But he's not going to have enough energy to get to a Blizzard, and so I'm able to take it out. Once again, Politoed is pretty fun. Give it a shot if you've got the Legacy, or even if you've got a good IV one that's running Blizzard. That could also be kind of fun. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.